In a crypto lounge with a chart so wild, we're dropping beats and rhymes and we're not for mile. From Bitcoin to Ethereum, we're breaking it down. In the crypto lounge where the markets never bound. Crypto lounge, daily live stream, market analysis, breaking news, it's a dream. We're dropping knowledge, we're dropping bars. In the crypto lounge where the beats are hard. From NFTs to DeFi, we're keeping it real. We're dropping knowledge, and we're making it feel. From bull to bear, we're always on the grind. In the crypto lounge, where the market's never blind. Crypto lounge, where the toll lounge, where the market's never blind. Crypto lounge, daily live stream, market analysis, breaking news, it's a dream. We're dropping knowledge, we're dropping bars. In the crypto lounge, where the beats are hard. We're dropping knowledge, we're dropping rhymes. In the crypto lounge where the future shines.
All right. Another week, another correction. Here we go. Welcome to the show, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. We got a lot to talk about. I want to get into this. I want to do a deep dive into this Swift Linea bombshell, this pilot project. I want to bring some substance to it because there's something else going on here that no one's talking about. So we're going to get into that. I think it's a good position to get yourself into going into the new year because this particular pilot project is probably going to snowball into more entries when it comes to industries and players like Swift in other sectors that are going to be leveraging the technology. So we're definitely going to get into that. I think we have JT in the back. Can you hear me, brother? Make sure you can hear me.
Check. What's up, fam? I hear you.
What is going on, man? Welcome to the show. It's been a while, bro. It's been a while.
Yeah. Thank you, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm okay, man. How about yourself, man? I see you sporting a very, very nice NFT again. Let me get you up on the screen too, brother. Got to get you up on there too. Welcome to the show, though, man. We're going to get into the market, obviously, but we got, what's going on with you, brother? How you doing?
Oh man, I've just been, trying to stay busy. I've been incredibly busy lately, but the market's been looking pretty good lately. I've been pretty stoked. I've been doing pretty well in the NFT zone. So yeah, just happy to be here and cooling, man. How about yourself? How you been?
I'm good, bro. Working as usual. Bouncing with the market, I think, did we get a dead cat bounce with Bitcoin? We're going to talk about it. Dominance is going back down again, but as you said, it's been pretty phenomenal when you're looking at this inflow. I think ETFs well over $1 billion inflow. It's crazy. It's pretty bizarre. And then this Swift thing, coming out of nowhere, jumping on ETH, the layer 2 Linea, and bringing its friends along too as well, 30 banks. So we'll get into that. NFTs, got to talk to you about NFTs too as well. I think Hyperliquid introduced the Hypurr NFT, added a lot to that particular bottom line too. That thing went pretty well too. But the altcoins are sliding, bro, and they're following Bitcoin. But ETH tends to kind of be in a neutral zone, and I think it's because of the news, And a lot of people are saying it's not good for XRP, Ripple. I'm not really on that fence right there, and I'll get your take on that as well. But as we move into, let's go ahead and jump into it, man, because we got a lot to get into. JT sporting the NFT. We're going to get into NFTs too, because I think that sector is about to pop pretty hard. What's your take on that before we get into the actual altcoins? No, I think, are you still with us, JT?
Yeah, I'm sorry. My connection broke up for a second.
No, you good. Yeah, I saw that. No, before we get into this countdown, I wanted to get your take on NFTs because I know you're big on that, and I see a movement. I see some strong momentum within that sector.
Yeah, man. I've been diving deep into NFTs and been doing really well with them, especially on the Sui blockchain. The Move code language is really designed in a way where it really facilitates gaming and really facilitates the NFTs a lot, because you can stack the code language on top of itself. So I think they're getting a lot of exposure still. Still a lot of competition with AVAX out there in the gaming community, but yeah, I've been seeing some amazing returns, both on dividend yield and just the asset itself. So
yeah,
it's definitely something to keep your eyes on for sure.
Yeah, I've been looking at this volume, bro, and it's crazy. It's a little down today, but it's been pretty decent, especially with the top 10, actual platforms. But you're saying SUI is where that's the spot to be, especially for developers, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're really expanding anyway, and they're trying to. There's a lot of people building a lot of really cool stuff. Platforms, P2P platforms, where you could circumvent some of the fees that are associated with NFTs and royalties and stuff. Yeah, man, there's a lot of builders out there, a lot of people in the space that are just trying to push everything forward. So, and the potato lands, I sported those ones last time I was up here, and they have been printing for me. Not financial advice. I would not suggest going out to buy them right now. I got in a long time ago, but yeah, the yields are ridiculous right now.
Man, that's what's up, man. Hand clap to the NFT community, man. That's what's up. I love it. When I first came in, I was all over. When I kind of converted from mining, coming into crypto in the early days, that's where I was at, man. I was hanging out, and the NFT crowd was pretty small back then. And the token standard wasn't really going, but the art was out there, right? The token standard was pretty, is in the infancy stages at that time, but the art was out there, and the artists were wanting to slam right into it. And you look at it now, it's crazy. It's crazy what's going on, that artist ownership, that's where it's at, bringing in the profits. You don't have to split anything, as a developer now. They're not securities either, JT. We finally got that clarity from, the SEC. So that's a good deal too. You know what I mean? So that cloud is gone essentially. But let's go ahead and get into the overall market. Very interesting perspective there. Bitcoin, guys, 120. Now Bitcoin actually hit a crucial all-time high once again, you guys. So let's go ahead and hand clap that. That was pretty decent. This is very decent. Volume is crazy. It's kind of below 88 billion. It was well above 88 billion, but you did see a reductive pattern. Huge correction, hit 126, JT, which was phenomenal, which was crazy. I mean, what do you think about it? We were talking about these global market caps before, earlier in the year, how it's going to look. I know LMFG he's at 10. I'm at around 7, topping off in a couple of years. Where are you? Because, and we'll get into the week predictions, which was pretty interesting when I'm looking at 5-day predictions with Bitcoin. This thing is looking pretty robust. The dominance did go down a little bit, but that institutional flow, that ETF inflow, what we're seeing with the government shutdown, which is funneling a lot of scared money into not only gold, but Bitcoin as well, and some AI stocks too, which is a huge bubble. What's your take on the outlook, man, when it comes to Bitcoin? What is the top going into Q4?
Ooh, that's a tough call. Yeah, I don't know. I think we saw some impressive runs there, coming up to the 125 range. Yeah. Of course, where it's, expected to see some flow into the altcoins and stuff. We're getting to that point in this season, as far as past projections, where we could be looking at a top pretty soon here. There's going to be a lot of people screaming super cycle. The more times you hear it, the more scared I get about it. But I haven't really seen a whole lot of people out there pumping, the narrative. Yeah. So maybe we will see some extended runs. We'll see. I'm definitely looking probably in the range of 140 would be my guess, 150 at this point.
Yeah, that's
I don't know if we're gonna.
Sounds about right.
I don't know if we're gonna push too much further than that, but hey, you know what I mean? It is a great place to be right here, right now. If you're in crypto, you're already leaning on the right side, you know what I mean? So for me, as far as my Bitcoin holdings,
absolutely, I agree.
I don't touch them. I don't trade Bitcoin. I don't move my Bitcoin holdings. I just hold them. Not financial advice. You guys do your own thing.
Yeah.
I do trade a lot of like major coins like Solana, Sui, and stuff. I'll do some day trading on those. But when it comes to my Bitcoin bag, I just set it and forget it, man. It looks like a high price right now, but go ahead and take a glance at any time during 2021 and reflect on that price. Reflect on buying at that point. You know what I mean? So you're here, you're early. Let's go.
Yeah, you're so right, bro. I know that's cliche. A lot of people are like, man, why do they keep saying that? Why do they keep saying, well, you're still early? Because you really are. You know, if you know, you know. Yeah, a lot of people that are coming in, they're seeing a top. They're seeing a Bitcoin that looks like it's topped off, but it really isn't. A lot of these particular, especially the chains, the coins, they're just really starting to like be discovered, essentially. And there was a lot of illegalities there, a lot of unclarity, unclarification when it comes to laws about investing with institutions and banking getting involved. Like you see Swift coming in with the payment system. We're going to dive into that, bro, because there's a lot there that a lot of people aren't talking about. They're hyping it, but there's some intricacies that I want to talk about. And we're talking this Swift, Linea, I think is what you call it. Linea. I'm sorry, I probably pronounced that wrong. I'm sorry. We got to get into that, man, because we need to tell people the truth about what's really going on. And it's not bad. It's great for the space. It's great for ETH, but there's some information that's not being put out there that a lot of you guys need to know. And this thing is under a $500 million market cap, Linea. I think it's around $435 million market cap. It's a baby compared to where it's going. So we're going to get into the nuances and things you need to know about that so you can make the right decision. Do you want to invest in Linea, or do you want to just stay on the sidelines and kind of watch it? I don't know. I think you need to get this information, though. We'll get to that in a little bit. Bitcoin is at $120,000, guys. Roughly massive correction, but I want to get into here in a little bit and get your take on what Jim Cramer had a discussion about when it comes to this quantum computing. This one particular scientist is saying that we may need to short Bitcoin because the quantum computing, the actual attacks that are upcoming, it's pretty scary. And I'm gonna play that here in a little bit before we get off of Bitcoin, but I want to go into these ETFs because this is where it's at. Now, when we're talking about ETF infrastructure, and I want to show this tab here. Look at this graph, JT, $1.3 billion worth of ETF inflow when it comes to crypto ETFs. By the way, the altcoin ETFs were postponed. I'll get your take on that as well. Government shutdown is hurting the progress of that big time. Not only the actual altcoin ETFs, but language, crypto regulation, that language you need to get into the office, the Oval Office to get signed. It's not happening. Big time barrier that has been put in place here when it comes to the shutdown. And there is no solution, by the way, guys. They did not do anything overnight. So, but that's not stopping the crypto ETFs, which is keeping the floor, holding the floor, Bitcoin floor, holding that Ethereum floor. Those top two dictate movement. So a combined effort of $1.3 billion when it comes to that inflow. That is phenomenal. Now, to break it down, you have 1.1 billion in Bitcoin ETF inflow alone. This is registered on the 5th of October, guys. It's probably even more than that. $176 million worth of Ethereum inflow, which is really, really outpacing Bitcoin. If you really think about it, if you really, really get to the totals of ETH, that influx, the percentages are up, which is great for Ethereum. But the combined effort is well over $1.3 billion. And I got to hand clap that because that's what's holding this floor. Institutional inflow. JT, if you remove this, Bitcoin is around what, 85 right now. If you remove all of this institutional inflow, and if we were just still in that realm of 2021, 2020, without all of this, pre-Bitcoin halving, right? Pre-merger, I'm looking at ETH at around 2,300 right now, roughly, probably lower than that, even 2K. In a Bitcoin, I'm thinking 85, probably 79K right now without all of this institutional floor. Am I crazy? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right. However, I do think it's etched in time now. We've seen some things happen with institutions getting involved that has driven us forward now. So I've been worried about for a long time the pondering question: do they try to front run us?
Yeah.
front run us on the top, sell us out, or do they hold it and push it on to a cycle when we're all expecting it to dip and then we sell and they buy it up? I don't know what's going to happen. I can't tell you, how it's going to be, but what I can say is these are very smart players being involved in the game here. And I think that just them showing the amount of interest that they've shown so far has done immense things for the crypto space as a whole. You're right, it would be significantly lower, but I said this on previous spaces. I don't think this is the cycle. This is the beginning of the cycle where it starts getting worldwide adoption, and we're bringing things to the table like regulation and stuff. We're actually discussing these things that are like needed for the space. But once, I just think the timeline's a little bit too tight. One more cycle and we're going to see a huge influx of people showing interest in crypto in general, especially when you start getting our RWAs involved and shit.
Yeah, see, we're not even there. You made a great point. We're not even there yet. This is kind of like the infancy stages of this particular movement. And again, clarity. The shutdown really hurt a lot. It really did. You can see a lot of people recircling back into altcoins right now because we're not getting what we needed from Congress. We're not getting the Project Crypto, Genius Act, Clarity Act, all those finalizations. They've hit a wall. Hell, even 3-hour Atlas, the photos that NASA was supposed to submit to where we can see what the hell is parked behind the sun, that got shut down. Everything is shut down, guys.
I know, that sucks.
You know what I'm saying? I was looking forward to seeing what's really actually behind the sun, but I mean, we're not going to get that, and that's a whole nother story, a whole nother niche, whole nother video. Bitcoin, as you can see, guys, I got this very, very much zoomed in. Pretty good drop, bro. A lot of money out the door. I mean, massive selling, guys. We topped off at 126. There was a lot of people that were in massive profits, JT. And honestly, if I'm a Bitcoin whale, if I've been holding since 2013, 2010, if I participated in the faucet, and if I was holding 300 plus BTC, I probably would have sold too. What about you? What about you? I would have sold I had to. Bro, any smart investor that's sitting on these type of profits, you got to take them. You have to take those profits. I'm not mad at that. I think it's healthy.
Man, I don't know. I like to think that, like, if I was that guy that was, especially you're talking about the faucet. Woo!
I went way back, brother. Yeah, I go way back, bro.
You're in some profits.
Yes,
the
sir.
chances are likely you're already well established into the green. So, I mean, I think you probably took profits for a while ago. For me, it took me a long time to learn about, trying to time the market is very difficult. You know what I mean? And if you kind of standardize how whatever your game plan is to acquire more Bitcoin, I think of it like this. It's very simple. You either believe that Bitcoin works or you don't. And if you do, it doesn't make sense to sell it, on these peaks.
Yeah.
Trading is very difficult, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, that's just me, my holdings. I don't think I would be selling my Bitcoin right now. Maybe I would. I don't know. Who knows? I'm not in that spot. So it's easy to say the whoulda, coulda, shouldas, but
yeah.
But I'm not selling what I have. I can tell you that much.
No, absolutely. I got to tell you, bro, if I'm looking at 100 mil, because a lot of these faucet guys are looking at like 200-300 mil in their wallets, and they've probably been selling over time. But if I'm looking at 100-200 mil, I'm selling, bro. I'm selling. I'm sorry. I'm selling, guys.
Yeah, that's my point. Is if I'm sitting on a bunch of Bitcoin, I'm DCA selling. I'm not gonna, I'm not like waiting around for this peak. I'm just gonna take a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and just keep DCA selling as we go further.
I think that's what a lot of them are doing. But from 126 down to 120, bro, those wallets were dumping. I mean, for this thing to go from 126 to 120, wow. You know what I mean?
Somebody's on an island somewhere right now.
A lot of guys, I talked to a couple of whales recently, and a lot of them are worried about taxes. That's why you see a lot of wallets on chain that are like bloated. because they're worried about taxes, man. You know, and I think you had a MEXC wallet that was froze. It had over $2 million in it. Guy's still trying to get his funds back. He was circumventing and trying to get away from paying taxes as well. So a lot of these wallets, a lot of these guys that are crying on X about, oh man, the SEC froze my wallet, is because there were some mischievous activities going on with that wallet. That's why it's froze.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Taxes, man.
You got to, bro. You got to. That's what I'm saying. I'm not even worried about that. I'm not, listen, and we'll move on to Jim Cramer in this discussion about quantum, the attack. This guy is seething at the mouth of the notion of shutting Bitcoin down. And I want you guys to see this. This is crazy what's going on here. But just to some big, $120,000, guys, coming off of that top 126 briefly. And you had a lot of profit taking, and the market is responding to this as well, all the way down. I want to get into Jim Cramer because this is some nutso stuff right here. Very scary stuff, guys, when it comes to Jim Cramer. He's a scary guy these days. Check this out.
Now, can you explain to people why you may or may not be able to destroy Bitcoin?
Instead of using the typical computation for Bitcoin, which is SHA-256, what you could do is use this quantum proof of work as the underlying computation for cryptocurrency or other blockchain applications. Why is this significant? Because if Bitcoin today was using this proof of work rather than what they're currently using, we would consume 1,000 times less power. This is a very energy efficient technology.
Sure, like the guys from CoreWeave, that's why they got into power, because it was they were Bitcoin guys.
You're absolutely right. And it's not only blockchain and Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, it's also AI. The point is, quantum computers are very energy efficient. Our systems are going to be able to perform these computations at a fraction of the power required. Time to short the energy stocks.
See, now, listen, I'm going to play this one more time. I want you guys to soak this in because they're actually currently doing a core update. A core update, essentially. And that's the core, that is basically the foundation of Bitcoin. This is what the miners use. And that they're going through a actual update right now. And I don't know if it's response to this quantum computing. I don't know if it's, I don't know if this was at the request of BlackRock, but this is the scary discussion here. And this guy's basically saying, hey, it's time. Either it's done or Bitcoin is toast.
Now, can you explain to people why you may or may not be able to destroy Bitcoin?
Instead of using the typical computation for Bitcoin, which is SHA-256, what you could do is use this quantum proof of work as the underlying computation for cryptocurrency or other blockchain applications. Why is this significant? Because if Bitcoin today was using this proof of work rather than what they're currently using, we would consume 1,000 times less power. This is a very energy efficient technology.
Sure, like the guys from CoreWeave, that's why they got into power, because they were Bitcoin guys.
You're absolutely right. And it's not only blockchain and Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, it's also AI. The point is, quantum computers are very energy efficient. Our systems are going to be able to perform these computations at a fraction of the power required. Time to short the energy stocks.
All right, so JT, obviously he's promoting the tech, right? He's a salesman, he's promoting, and they're gonna say things like this, but this actual threat is real. And this could affect the space. And I know BlackRock, they want a fork. They already want a fork. And we're talking Bitcoin, guys. This quantum threat is real, bro. And what he said is pretty chilling. What's your take on that?
You know what I hear when I hear that? I hear, so we're using gold coins. We have gold coins. They're very heavy. It's very hard to move them around. It's very hard to transport them. Why don't we make just a paper bill? And then we can use that. And it's much easier to transport. We'll be able to hold way more bills. You'll be able to interject with them back and forth, no problem. It sounds literally the exact same thing. Now, if we move down forward into the road with this computations that are happening on a quantum level, yeah, the blockchain will be more efficient. Yeah. But it doesn't mean we have to get rid of gold. We could still keep gold. It can still be heavy to move and very taxing to move, but we can still own it. So if you're creating a blockchain that's going to be able to do quantum computations, yes, it will be more efficient. Maybe we can do that. Maybe maybe we can do that without trying to take over what Bitcoin is.
So basically,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah, that's what a lot of BlackRock is saying. Let's go ahead and it's time, right? Because the space is maturing, and Bitcoin needs to mature as well. You know, especially if it wants to take on this responsibility of being a currency, which I don't think it's ever going to be able to do that. You know, but this is what they're wanting. You know, they're contorting and twisting and turning Bitcoin right now. Some say hijacking, right? But this is what's happening. The institutions are grabbing it by the horns, and they're trying to conform it into their own form, you know, type of, you know, structure. This is what they're doing. And this guy is saying, hey, we can make it 1,000 times cheaper, 1,000 times less power constraints. We can implement here with our particular, you know, revolutionary tech, essentially, D-Wave. I don't know, but I know that's what's going on. I think a fork is imminent. Something has to happen, because in its current state, JT, it's not going to work. No, it's not going to be able to do what they want it to do.
Right. And that's the question. Does it have to do what they want it to do? You know what I mean? Because the way Bitcoin is written, yes, it will be expensive. You know what I mean? But the way it is written is for a store of value, not for
Absolutely.
The ability to be able to use as a currency. You know what I mean? There's plenty of opportunity to make currencies off of that without having to take the liquid that is Bitcoin. Because I think the real threat for the quantum computing is coming into wallet hacking and the lack of 2FA for legacy wallets and shit. You know, that people are going to come in, they're going to crack these wallets with quantum computing. Now, don't get me wrong, like, we're still a ways from hackers getting their hands on quantum computers. You're talking about a lot of money to build one of these super computers. But, you know, there's a lot of money in the market, trillions of dollars. So when you start putting numbers to numbers, it's like, I think the threat would be the wallets, and the answer would be the validators. You know what I mean? So how do you decide which is cracked, which is not? I don't know. That's a whole rabbit hole that, you know, people who are more intelligent than me are going to have to figure out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like them trying to take over the chain. That's for sure.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, bro. This is what's happening. I hate to call it a hijack, but it is what it is, man. Currently, the bearish meter is very bearish, 14.8. Pretty low sentiment right now. Let's go ahead and get back to the market, bro. Now, as we slide back to the market, that was Mr. Kramer, and Kramer's all over the place. 1 minute he's saying buy, one minute he's saying sell. This is pretty much his stitch. Currently Ethereum $4,400. Ethereum is basically neutral territory, JT, with a prediction that is pretty stout, right? We're looking at a 5-day prediction of around $5,100. That's going to be a 10% hike within a 5-day period. These are the compiled predictions that I've gotten across the board. 1 month outlook, $5,200. 3-month outlook going into the new year, almost 8K. That's a 68% hike in the price from where it is right now. ETH is looking pretty bullish now. Let's go ahead and go all the way down through, and then we'll get into some other predictionary factors here with the rest of the top 10 too. What's your take on BNB? Because BNB has been kicking ass lately. I mean, it's just growing and growing. 7-day outlook, almost 30% up, bro. We're looking at a $1,300. This is what it's approaching, $1,300. What's your take on BNB? I don't know if you're into the NFT factors on BNB, but I know the memes are off the charts. Web3 development has always been pretty robust. And then you have CZ doing a lot of marketing, external marketing right now. What's your take on this massive eruption in BNB?
Man, I have been sleeping on BNB. I remember $300 BNB. And I
remember when it was 200 when CZ got locked up? Remember that?
Oh man, was I sleeping. Yeah, and I've been seeing it all over the chart. It's just really impressive movement. I need to go and do a deep dive into BNB and find out what kind of changes they've implemented, because somebody knows something. I see it all over the chart.
Yeah. Dude, it is remarkable. I mean, you pull back on a 7-day period. Look at this arc. Look at the trajectory of BNB, and it doesn't seem to stop. at all. I'm looking at a lot of yeah, you got decent sale pressure. I want to pull this up. You have sale pressure as well, but it's not working. Just recently, man, massive sale pressure. A lot came out of the pipe. You can see this reduction in price here. All right, this is around the 7th of October here is what we're seeing here. We are in the middle of that actual correction of this price, but it's not stopping this run, bro. This is a healthy sell-off right here, but it's not stopping it. We're at $1,300 when the sell-off ensued, and it's not stopping, bro. You had an immediate buying of the dip here today. I don't think this is going to stop. I think this is going to continue all the way into the new year. I can see this at around 3K Q4 2026, because as far as we know, the development is not going to stop. The external marketing when it comes to BNB with CZ just ripping it, just ripping ass, bro. There are some issues with Aster, but I don't think that is going to be hurt at all. Money is coming. We'll go to DeFi. I'm going to look at that actual inflow. But bro, when it comes to BNB, I'm not even going to stutter when I say 3K Q4 2026. 3K probably and beyond. I don't see this stopping anytime soon.
Man, looking at that graph, I'm gonna go start trading it. It's just perfect.
It is.
Feels the fair value, comes back to this. It's like a great graph. I love it.
It's beautiful, man. And we're talking about, you know, when CZ got locked up, it was $200 and we were laughing at it. It was like, this thing is finna crash. CZ is going to jail. This thing is I thought it was going to go down to like sub 100, right? It did not. It actually consolidated at between $200 to $230 for some months. And then all of a sudden, look what we have here. You had the launcher too. We did have the launcher that actually put a lot of volume into this chain. It basically created a funnel to bring life into the chain big time, because it never had a launcher. A lot of people made fun of it, but I think, what was the actual meme coin that actually shot up? It was the CZ meme coin when they launched that launcher, and that pretty much after that, it was to the moon for the particular memes on this thing. And then you had the actual pancake swap, which I think it's up to phenomenally. It's a good thing to look at. Now, a lot of people are like, man, this thing is topping off. I don't think so, JT. As you can see, buyers are coming in right now. I don't think it's topping off, bro. I could be wrong.
No, not yet. It looks like it's going to sideways for a little bit. And then, like I said, I'm going to go do a deep dive.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. BNB, beautiful situation. And as for those predictions, while we're on BNB, guys, across the board, this thing is predicting to go well over $1,500 going into the actual end of Q4. We're talking about topping off at around $1,700, guys. That's 34% from where it is. And I have to tell you, and I'm sorry, the year, I'm talking within the year, sitting at where it's sitting at now with a pretty decent sell-off, the resilience is here. And this is what you have at ETH too as well. Massive resilience. This is why this is in that same category of a positive predictions going forward. So not necessarily going to see it at 7K like ETH and and I think ETH is going to top off at around 7K, guys. I'm not joking. At the end of December of this year, you're going to see a 7K ETH. It's inevitable. I don't see what's stopping that. Now, let's go ahead and move to XRP, because I want your take on this, bro. That Swift Linea project, the private, and we're talking, let's call it what it is, bro. It's a actual pilot project that's going to go on for around 3 to 6 months. We'll get into the nuances of it. If it goes well, it's going to be off to the races. Okay, 30 banks are going to be involved in that particular pilot project, JT. Now, as we move to XRP, this is a direct shot at XRP, and I'm talking about the cross-border agent, Ripple. Direct shot. I'm talking about a double barrel slugfest. And a lot of people are feeling it, especially in the XRP community. You see a lot of infighting going on. You see a lot of jousting back and forth from Linea to XRP. You have Chainlink going in, throwing a little sneak jabs as well. $2.86. This is where we're sitting at in XRP. I'm not saying XRP is going to dump, but you could see the actual you could see what's happening here in this chart. JT, before we get into it, what you take? Do you think the actual Swift Linea situation is indeed a threat? You know, the Linea blockchain, I think it has a lot of attributes that put it above what's going on with the XRP situation, with the ledger and with the security factors, the TPS, the uptime, because that's where it's at. JT, we need stability when it comes to these payment platforms. We do not need chain freezes. We do not need instabilities. We need throughput. We need high throughput. And we need that ZK EVM tech, that privacy factor, the security. Is it a threat, bro? Because we're looking at XRP. I don't think it's going to get back up over $3 because of what's going on here. A lot of negativity here. What's your take? I could be wrong, man. And I still hold XRP.
I mean, what we need in a system like they're trying to design is throughput. You know, you're talking, in my mind, at least 24,000 transactions per second.
Yeah.
That's Visa is running an average of 12,500 worldwide, but you're going to have other transactions that are blockchain transactions that are also occurring at the same time in live time. So when I see stuff like this happening, it's perfect in my eyes because we need competition. We need people out there making sure we have the best of the best product. And it's interesting because you got XRP's got a lot of really significant high-powered backers. And then you also see the side project. Kind of makes me think that like some of the same people might be dipping their fingers in both pools. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah.
At the end of the day.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're just looking, you know, for the best product, you know, to be able to work with.
No, absolutely. And I think you're going to need more than one chain, more than one solution to carry out these situations. Because I think Swift is probably going to land on other chain. If this goes well, it's not just going to be Linea, but Linea it's built for this. Yeah, we're going to get into the technical aspects of that L2 because it's literally built. And I think this is why they chose this L2. It's not because of Ethereum's influence. It's because of the way this thing is built. It's a direct plug-in. It's a direct female socket for this male Swift plug to slide right into. It's a perfect fit. And we'll get into the actual technicalities of it. And we'll get into what's going on with Linea because I think it's a great buy. I think it's a great buy. It actually sold off a little bit too as well. $2.86. XRP, I think it'll get back up. I said it wasn't. I think it's going to get back up to $3. But I think this is a kick in the nuts. And I think it's good. Just like you said, this is good for competition. Competition is good for business. It's good for institutions. It's good for developers because it gets them off their ass and it allows them to think. It removes the complacency factors. Okay. It absolutely and I think this kicked them in the nuts. Now we did get the CTO. He moved up. So I don't know who's going to replace the CTO. And I'm talking this Ripple CTO that moved up. He didn't leave the situation. He kind of got promoted upward. So I don't know who's going to replace him, but this is a kick in the nuts, man. So we'll see how they react on a developmental standpoint. Do we get upgrades to that? I know the ledger has been upgraded profusely, but do we get some upgrades, security upgrades for cross-border payment, speed, things of that nature? Because this L2, this Linea, it's pretty quick. It's pretty quick, and you have that ZK EVM infrastructure, which Swift is completely in love with. And this is what you need with these type of payment systems. 30 banks, guys, are going to be involved in this pilot test phase, which is going to go on for 3 to 6 months. We'll get into it here in a little bit. XRP, I'm not really worried about the price. You know, there's negative sentiment, negative swings, a lot of infighting, but we'll see how this goes. Solana, $221 is going to be that where that's cresting at. It did. I thought it was going to get pretty close to 280, but we did get some reductive patterns. I think this is just indicative of what's going on with Bitcoin. A lot of fear here in the market right now. The shutdown really put a drawback on momentum, guys. As you see, we are currently 4.15 trillion globally. So we're still above 4. And you can thank the ETF inflow for that, right? Dogecoin, 24 cents. Tron, 33. JT, Tron is a stable coin, bro. This thing does not move. I don't care what type of noise. I don't care what happens to Ether or Bitcoin.
It just hangs out.
What the hell, bro? I mean, does Justin Sun hold that much? Go ahead, bro.
Guy who's like, I'm just hanging out.
What is going on with Tron, bro? I mean, there's nothing, no swings, or it's a 33 cent stable coin. What the hell is going on, bro? I think I know what's going on. I know exactly what's going on, but allegedly, I know what's going on. The CEO, the actual builder, the owner he owns a lot of TRX. He's not selling. He's holding his freaking floor, bro. So, you know, but it is what it is. We know the deal. We know the spiel. Cardano, 82 cents. I think the Cardano predictions. Let me get to this. This is pretty. Now, price predictions for Cardano, pretty interesting because going into the next month, it's slated to go over $1. Now, this is the consensus when it comes to Cardano. We do see Charles Hoskinson making a lot of moves. We did get the midnight upgrade. We did get a lot of things infrastructurally that are happening with Cardano, but a lot of the community is like, this is not happening fast enough, right? A lot of the implementations, a lot of the marketing, things of that nature, things are not happening as fast as the community wants them to happen, but these things need to take time. You don't want to rush any of this. 3-month prediction is $1.29. JT, you think ADA can actually get to $1.29? That's 49% up within a 3-month period. That's I don't know about that. Pretty bullish. Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We talked about issues with Cardano in the past.
Yeah.
I think they're, you know, they can do well. We'll see. I don't think they're going anywhere. I don't know if I would put them quite that high.
You mentioned the word, the dreadful word that a lot of people don't want to talk about, throughput. You know, I don't see any payment systems landing on Cardano. I don't. Right. I don't. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Let's go ahead and get it cracking here. It's kind of bearish though, man, because you want Cardano to do well, right? You want it to do so well. It's got good devs. You know, you want these guys to do well. But, you know, as far as positioning, it's lackluster. I don't know. We'll move on. I don't want to get too bearish on it. 82 cents, though. It is about 50 cents, though. A lot of ADA whales, man, are waiting on that dollar. That's all I'm going to say. A lot of whales are waiting on that dollar. So, Hyperliquid, guys, Hyperliquid, not so well on the prediction standpoint. Let's go ahead and get to that. Because we're looking at across the board a reduction of this price, guys, going into the Q4 of this year. This thing is slated to go down to $33.92, and it's probably because of the competition. I think it's because of Aster. I really do. That is new competition. We talked about competition making a lot of these how should I say, disturbing the monopoly. JT, can I say it like that? Just competition disturbs the monopoly, and it presents an opportunity not only for the investors to take advantage of this competition and the playing field, but it also makes platforms like Hyperliquid honest. And the complacency is clear because these actual negative predictions going into the new year, not so good. This thing is probably going to barrel down to $34 within the 3-month period. This is what the trajectory is looking at. And now, again, these are predictions. There's a lot of metrics involved here. But the consensus states that Hyperliquid is going to see some reductive downward trajectory going into the new year. What's your take on that? Do you partake in the perp market?
Oh yes, I do. I actually use Hyperliquid. I like what they're do. I don't invest in them. I don't have any of their tokens. I just use their platform.
Yeah.
But there's a few others that are in beta that are kind of cool too. So yeah, I mean, I don't think perp markets are going anywhere, especially in the bear market. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do to promote their own value of their own token other than, you know, just making money off of their market themselves. So does that flow back into the token? I don't know. I'm not buying any, if that says anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you missed the boat on this one. If you're buying at the top right now, you know, it's not a good time to buy it all. The predictions it's down across the board, but you know, 1, 2, 3 month predictions are pretty bearish with this particular token. I think you missed the boat on that. I wouldn't be buying Hyperliquid, but I would, you know, it's a great platform, but it has competition now. I think Aster's a better buy. They're really starting to generate revenue right now pretty quickly too. It was hyped up, really good, right? And we see some leveling out. We see some selling. We'll see. Chainlink, $21. Massive news with Chainlink. Chainlink is I've been bullish on this the entire time. Yeah, especially when I was introduced to it. Daniel Gayton introduced me to this, and Wadi, the crypto hunter. And ever since then, I was in love, you know, Almo as well. Those 3 guys introduced me to this, and I've been in love ever since. And I've been tracking this. And I think this price is criminal. For Chainlink to be at $21 right now, it's criminal because of what's going on here and what has happened recently with these partnerships. It's starting to blossom, guys, is what I'm trying to tell you. I did a video spot on it. And hopefully the members love that video. And I was focusing on Chainlink in that particular video and the infrastructure, what's going on with that oracle, how it's going to be used, and how this thing is going to, well, it is blossoming. You're starting to see this actually grow up into its adulthood. And it's massively used. It's been massively used. They did a massive stress test with the banks. That's already in the books. You see that happening with Linea, with Swift. That threshold test. 30 banks. We're about to get into the nuances of that, JT. Chainlink is about to go bonkers, bro.
Yeah, I've always been impressed with Chainlink. I've had them for a very long time now. I only add to my bag of Chainlink.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to, bro. 21. Come on, man. Now this thing can crater down to $11, right? I mean, in a bear situation, this is what the predicaments are. But again, I don't think you're going to see $11. I don't think you're going to see I don't even think you're going to see $20, guys, because of the predictions. Get a load of this, JT. Now, obviously, coming out of this year, out of the 5-day period, you did see a reductive pattern. 1 month predictions, $24.80. Totally doable. Same percent up, right? Going into the new year, it just gets even crazier. $29 going into the new year, Q1, right? Going into Q2 and Q3. All right, we're talking about $30. We're talking 2026. And this is when all of these partnerships, all of these connections, all of this real-time actual facilitating of real-world activity. I'm talking RWAs, tokenized assets, all of that good stuff. Chainlink is involved with a lot of things that they really don't promote. They don't talk about it. It's not on X. You have to do the research on this. This is easily going to be a $70 token by Q3 2026, because this is when all of this is going to come into fruition, because we should have finalization and clarification on a lot of language that has hit a wall due to the shutdown, due to the government shutdown. But that should be by Q3 of next year. We should have all of that in the books. And this is when you're going to see the explosion on a lot of these actual RWA bearing facilitators like Chainlink and the above. They're going to explode. And then JT, we should get the altcoin by Q4 of 2026. Altcoin ETF should be off and running. This market is going to be really close to 6 trillion global market cap. It's pretty bullish. I'm pretty excited about next year. What you take, bro?
Yeah, I'm here for the ride. Chainlink has been one of my fan favorites for a very long time. They never stop cooking. So yeah, I'm definitely looking at picking up lows. I'm looking at the graph right now. I'm thinking about going and grabbing a little bit right now just for a little DCA. But yeah, I think that they're right on the forefront of, pushing the space forward, which is
absolutely
what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
When I'm looking for projects, I'm looking for people who are going to be here. I want to know how you make money, and I want to know that you're pushing the space forward, and that's when those check my boxes, but I'm
absolutely
super bullish. I got really high hopes for Chainlink. I think every one of those expectations is well within, reasonable expectations for sure.
No, it's the anchor. It's literally the anchor. And I think you could, and I'm not talking price points, but you could really put this up against Bitcoin when it comes to the actual serious nature of it and the importance of having this oracle in existence. A lot of institutions are loving it. You see Swift pulling in 30 banks. And I believe Chainlink is going to be involved with that particular testing as well. So it's an anchor, especially when it comes to RWAs. This thing is going to blow up, man. Not financial advice. Do your own research, obviously. But this is something that I don't think you guys should be sleeping on. Please don't sleep on it. You don't want to miss this because it's still decent, guys. It's still decent. $14 billion market cap. I think it can go way past that. Way past that. Now, SuChain, you're talking about SuChain, $12 billion market cap there, $3.46. You think Su still has a lot of room to grow, JT? Yeah, and we're looking at $12 billion market cap. That's going to scare a lot of people away. But Sui, the actual movement is that actually that heads team just started. So I think, with my opinion about it, a lot more room to grow. What's your take?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think this is just pretty much the sprout of Sui popping up out of the ground right now. Developers are just getting a chance to put their hands on the language and like really explore the options of different things that you can do on chain when you have the code that's stackable, the way the Move code language works. So, I mean, everything is object centric. I think that's a concept that like is still kind of getting around, but like, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of room for Sui in the space, depending on what application you're trying to put towards it. You know, I always say, I don't go to my toolbox and grab a hammer when I need a screwdriver. I get a screwdriver. So yeah, there's plenty of room in my eyes for Sui.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I like it. I think they just did a buyback too, if I'm not mistaken. A pretty decent buyback with Sui. Now you have a lot, and we'll round it up with Stellar. I love Stellar, 38 cents. I think Stellar's gonna go straight up nuclear. They're gonna go nuclear, bro. I think it's gonna go. Yeah, it's ISO compliant too, and this is what Swift is looking for. I think Swift is gonna actually end up connecting with the XLM as well. AVAX 28. It's almost back up to $30. We'll get to that. We're gonna stop at HBAR, which we should see that altcoin ETF. A lot of altcoin ETFs once we get past. I think they're gonna push that into Q1 2026 because it shut down, pretty much shut all of that down. So it's very interesting. Mr. Meaner, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, guys. For those who are coming up, he says, I always grab a flathead when I need a Phillips. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I can't
always use an adjustable wrench, but when I do, I adjust it the wrong way first.
We can't leave out Litecoin either, man. $115, beautiful Litecoin, and Mantle at $2. Mantle is overbought, in my opinion. And some say Bitcoin as well. Hand clap to the market, man. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Let's get to this breaking news too. We're gonna go straight to DeFi Llama for this. Now we're talking Linea is what we're going to talk about. Now, the Swift situation. I think this is just the start of something beautiful when it comes to institutional involvement. At JT, this is huge. And it's not so huge for the Ripple crowd, but I gotta tell you, this is good for the space. I'm good for anything good for the space. Now, I want to talk about Linea and the infrastructure because there is lending here. There's DeFi, there's DEXs. I think you have EtherX, which is probably going to be the most profitable DEX on Linea. And we're talking about Linea, the L2 that's getting all of the news lately when it comes to that connection, that Swift movement, moving in and leveraging this technology. JT, I've been told that this is the new Ethereum, bro, Linea. But before we dive into the metrics of this, and why I think it's a great buy, especially at its market cap, is it the new ETH? I don't know. I wouldn't go as far as to say that.
Well, I don't think that's fair to say. It's an L2 for one. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to be the new ETH if you're an L2. But I mean, like I said, we're looking for the best product available for the market. So yeah, I think this is super healthy for the space in general. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely look into them a little bit. I don't own any Linea, by the way. But let me tell you, bro. Definitely will be looking into it.
Yeah, we're gonna do a deep dive into Linea because there's some things you need to know, bro. Now, it's in this. If you really think about it, stablecoin. This is one of target. The stablecoin market cap of Linea is $143 million right now. Pretty modest, right? Chain fees. They're not. They're not making a lot of money, but the money is coming in. This is something that is in the preliminary stages. When you get this type of news like Swift coming in and actually choosing you to do a major stress test, these particular metrics are going to skyrocket, guys. Now you're looking at chain fees within the last 24 hours, $13,000, and people are like, yes, it's pretty modest. Nothing really special going on here. This is the actual storm, the actual rumbling before the actual storm of activity, guys. Now, When it comes to applications though, there are applications and dApps that are running that are pulling in just south of $100 million, guys. I'm sorry, $1 million. I'm sorry, 376,000 to be exact. And I'm just telling you guys, these are preliminary situations because this was pretty much flatlined. These particular metrics are pretty much flatlined until the news, right? Until we got this news. I can't wait to see the actual, the new data that's going to come out next month. I'm going to be watching this 3 months down the road. Let's see how these numbers look, because I think you're going to see a different actual situation here when it comes to revenue. When it comes to app fees that are going to be taken in by the devs. You do have an unlock, which is October the 10th. And I believe about 9% of this particular token supply was actually airdropped. But these unlocks are about to, shake up the game or shake up the chart a little bit. And I think this is a great buying opportunity once the unlock ensues. On October the 10th, JT, I think those are the great opportunities to get into this situation. It is south of $500 million market cap right now. So this thing may crater down to $352 million worth of MC. Great opportunity to get into this, man. You see what I'm saying?
See, and that's when you can, leverage against the market, try to time these unlocks with your buys and stuff. That's beautiful work there, fam.
Absolutely, man. This is how you work and finesse the market, especially when you get in this news. A lot of people didn't believe this news about this connection between this beautiful Ethereum L2 and Swift coming in, but it is real. This was announced on the 25th of September, formally laid out October the 5th, I believe, on stage. I believe it was on stage at a ConsenSys event. And here you go. It's going to happen. 3 to 6 month pilot project, and it is slated to go live and expand across the board. And this particular L2 is going to reap all those benefits. And obviously ETH is going to siphon a little bit of this. The great siphoner is what I like to call ETH, because there's a lot of L2 there's a lot of L2s, man, that are attached to Ethereum, the mother chain, to the tits of ETH. I like to say the tentacles are real, bro. So it's going to do its siphoning factor, and that's okay, because this thing is about to grow. The growth aspect of Linea is going to be phenomenal, and there's a lot of people that are talking about those unlocks. That is, to me, that's a great opportunity for retail to get in when this thing does dip, because it will rebound very swiftly, especially after this. And I believe this pilot project, this period is going to be very successful, and we'll get into why I think why. So when it comes to the perp volume, $32 million, bro, on this chain. When it comes to the perp volume, we'll get into this because there's a lot of DeFi on this chain, which this is what Vitalik was speaking of a year ago. He wanted to move ETH away from memes. He wanted a more legitimate, more, enterprise solution, eccentric type of chain going forward. And this is what you're getting here, because when you look at this actual perp volume, it is up on this particular L2 big time. Now, Bridge TVL almost 4 billion as well. So this is why it's very attractive to institutions like Swift. Now, when you look at the actual protocol rankings of Linea, this is where the actual money is coming from. And I think this is why a lot of people build in chains, because if you do build a successful chain that can actually facilitate these decentralized finance activities, those are the best coins to invest in, because they make money. Right? Yes. You understand what I'm saying, bro? These particular coins produce revenue because they are DeFi centric. They are built to facilitate DeFi. And this is why a lot of these devs build chains of this nature, because they know they're cash cows. I'm just being real. Cash cows. And this is what you see with Linea. And also it has ZK EVM infrastructure. So there's privacy there. Phenomenal privacy with zero knowledge. And you have high TPS with this chain. Big time. With Ethereum's actual security infrastructure. Very robust here. Now, when you're looking at the categories and where this money is coming from, lending, you have Aave that's on this chain as well. It is on 18 chains. But I have to tell you, lending is very heavy. Liquid staking, you have DEX. It has a native DEX that is exclusive to Linea as well. Again, revenue. This is where it's at. This is what makes Linea coin, which it is a coin. And by the way, if you didn't know, Linea is a gas token. Guys, there's another actual advantage here to holding this thing and investing. It's just only going to accrue value. You see how the actual existing gas tokens, look at the charts, the ones that are very successful that have DeFi implanted within the ecosystem. They just continue to go up. They're not stagnant. They don't go down. They go up. Listen to what I'm telling you here. You have DEXs, which is I think this thing within 24 hours, guys, made over 100 grand. And this is not a robust territory for this thing right now. Not at this point in time, because the volume is pretty low. The activity is pretty low. But you wait until this private program goes live, essentially, and begins to expand. And I'm talking Swift. This is actually going to go very well, because this chain, this L2, is built for what Swift wants. These particular dApps are going to skyrocket because you're going to have an influx of stablecoin activity on this particular chain, which is roughly very modest when it comes to the stablecoin market cap of around $143 million. This thing is going to shoot north of 100 billion pretty quick going into Q4 of 2026, especially when the pilot program is successful when it goes live, which I believe is going to do very well. This Swift pilot project. Now, we're talking about Carnal, DAO, Renzo, RE7 Labs, EtherX, which is exclusive DEX on Linea chain. Elure, you have many DAOs. You have Stargate Finance, which is a cross-chain bridge. So there's that interoperability factor with Linea as well that exists, and it's embedded here. Two forms of that. That's making money as well. You have a Zero Land. There's more lending here. Lots of lending going on with this particular chain, as well as more DEXs. You have multiple DEXs on this particular chain as well. 5 are exclusive to this chain alone. So those fees are exclusive to Linea. When I talk about revenue, this thing is going to generate a lot of revenue going down the road. JT, this is just, I'm not going to go into all of it, but you have the necessary factors of a pretty profitable situation. And mind you, Linea is a gas token, so it is in circulative motion. It is needed. There's a demand for it. You have to use it in order to interact with this ecosystem. There is a launcher too as well, but I don't think it's actually launched yet, but a launcher is coming too as well. JT, this thing it's checking all the check boxes for me, and it's low cap too as well, and Swift's involved.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just looking at first of all, you have to look at how are you making money. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of investors don't really realize what's going on in DeFi or different applications. Like you were talking about lending and stuff, and people don't even really understand the concept of it yet. I mean, it's pretty simple, but yeah, you don't want to give up your asset, so you use the collateral against it for interest.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Those fees are generating. The more user base, the larger you'll see the reflective gains exponentially in your chart. You know what I mean? So it's definitely very cool to keep an eye on chains that are not only doing things that are going to make them money, but also there's a strong suit to see that we're going to see some stress testing. I mean, if you have 30 banks that are going to get involved with this, we're going to want to make sure that we test it, right? That is going to equate to direct volume on the chart. It's going to be both ways because they're going to have to move things around, you know what I mean? But like, if we want to truly test this to see how many TPS we can actually get out of it, we're going to have to test it.
Yep.
And that's going to translate directly into revenue for the chain. So yeah, I'm bullish on things that can make their own money. You know, the volume, I believe the volume will be driven by itself. It'll almost create a wave.
Absolutely. This is what you want to put. This is where you want to put your money. Now you can play around with the memes and that good stuff. That's all good and well, right? But when it comes to this generational money, when it comes to getting into something early that's going to catapult into something very large, this is probably one of the moments that a lot of people are probably going to miss out on because it's not flashy. There's already FUD that's all around this right now, and this is a legitimate situation, bro. So this is one of those things where you have to focus. You have to block out the noise. Get into the details like we're about to get into. That way you know where this is a really good investment. Let's go ahead and do it. But you can only do that if you do your research, guys. There's a lot of FUD around this already, especially when it comes to the October 10th unlock. I'm not even worried about that. For me, that is an opportunity for me to catch that deal because I know what I'm working with here. I'm into the know. This is a great opportunity, and there's a lot of opportunities out there, guys. But this one is a rare moment because of this. It's a low cap. You have a major movement onto this chain, major development major testing that's going to go on, and it is going to go well. And the actual outcome of this is going to send this particular L2 skyrocketing. And a lot of people, I think a lot of people are going to miss out on this, JT. I really do. We're going to get into the timeline. We'll get into the actual purpose and the scope of this, and the actual technical, details. Because a lot of people are like, why Lena? Why Linea? I'm sorry. Why are they choosing this blockchain? What's so special about this particular L2? Why is Swift targeting this? Why not XRP? Why not AVAX? Why not Cardano? We'll get into that because there are some major, technicalities here when it comes to this particular L2. And it kind of makes sense, bro. Kind of makes sense. Now, the actual, here's what's going on here with this particular situation, guys. And mind you, this TVL is, the DeFi TVL of Linea alone is 1.56 billion. You can see that on the screen. But the total is well over that amount. Now, the initiative was publicly revealed, I told you, on the 26th, right? Now, Joe Lubin, which is the CEO of ConsenSys, actually confirmed this on stage, Token 2049 conference in Singapore on the 3rd of this month, this year. Now, this is a pilot, guys. It's going to start off as a pilot, all right? This is going to span around several months. I'm going to say 3 to 6 months. I think it's going to be just 3 months here. I think this is going to go very well. Now, with the potential for a wider rollout, if successful, okay? This is going to go well. Now, this comes amid Swift's broader Swift approach to the ISO 222 messaging standard, which is already finalized. This happened and is going to be the deadline is November 2025, but they've already chosen Linea for this particular stress testing, all right? And it's all blockchain, baby, all blockchain. Now, the primary goal, let's get into the primary goal of this particular prototype test. Now, obviously blockchain based. It's going to be a shared ledger for interbank messaging and payments, guys. Both. It's two-pronged situation. They've chosen Linea for this. Now, Linea, I'm sorry. Now, this is going to be replacing a lot of the antiquated factors of Swift, this is a centralized infrastructure. Now, it focuses on enabling 24/7 real-time cross-border settlements, guys, integrating stablecoin and testing on-chain transactions for tokenized assets like fiat, which we already know is going out the door, CBDCs and bonds as well. Now, Swift, which handles around $150 trillion annually in international payments across over 11,000 institutions. These are the actual focal points, reduce intermediary costs and errors while exploring an interbank token for settlements. So they're actually going to be implanting and creating and birthing a token too as well here, which is going to be for institutions essentially. Now, this actually builds on initiatives like Project Algor and Bank of International Settlements as well, involving tokenized deposits and wholesales and CBDCs. We're talking about wholesale CBDCs, not retail CBDCs. That's a pretty generous purpose. Now, why Linea? This is why. This actual L2 major focus is ZK EVM. We're talking zero knowledge Ethereum virtual machine. This is the L2 rollup infrastructure that was based on Ethereum, now offering full EVM equivalents for seamless app deployment. Now, this particular chain uses zero knowledge proofs to bundle transactions into cryptography and cryptographic proofs. Now, ensuring privacy, this is the #1 factor that Swift is looking for. Near instant finality and scalability. We're talking 1.5 TPS. Now, that's a benchmark, JT, but it's pretty high, 1.5 transactions per second, right? We're talking a lot of throughput here, all right? And we're talking a lot of throughput here. And listen to this though, before this, and this is it. This is the catch on that high throughput. 1/15 of the cost of the Ethereum's mainnet. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just gonna say it's a risk to reward thing. It's not necessarily saying that this stress test is gonna work,
Absolutely.
or the program is gonna work. But if it does, it's how, what am I willing to risk versus, what I'm expecting to gain out of it. So I'm definitely going to do some poking around on the decks and see what kind of other things are available specific to that chain and stuff. So, because I like staying on the forefront of developers that are building new stuff. So if you start seeing people, I always try to, when I'm looking for a chain, I always try to look for who's building on that chain. Are there people that are interested, you know, developers, builders that are coming in and saying, wow, I really need to use this product. So like, that's a lot of the place that I look for when I'm going to see, especially about a new chain, because new chains are, you know, hit or miss. Sometimes they make it, sometimes they don't, you know, and especially being a pilot program, the thing is, it's got a lot of backing behind it. So, you know, it either does or doesn't. It's kind of like what I was saying earlier a little bit about how I believe a lot of the same players have their hands in both sides of you know, the field. They're just seeing whatever is going to be the thing that makes it the best, whatever is the best product for us all.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think there will be money put in a lot of different areas, and just whichever one is the one that they adopt in the end, you know. So I think it's always good to get a little exposure, especially in an opportunity, like if you know an opportunity is coming up. Not financial advice.
No, seriously, bro. I mean, you have your ZK EVM, you have your up to 5,000 now. Again, these are benchmarks. The TPS is a benchmark. 5,000 TPS, you know, 5,000 transactions per second. It's nothing to sneeze at, JT. It's nothing. I mean, it looks pretty decent. I mean, if we can get anywhere close to that when it comes to payments, I think it's actually overkill. But I mean, that window, you know, that ceiling at 5,000 transactions per second, I think that's well enough. There's going to be well enough TPS for what Swift is needing for. In fact, it may be overkill. What's your take on that?
I don't think so at all, dude. I think they need, I mean, like Visa handles more than that.
Yeah.
You're talking about taking over a complete, I think they, like I was saying, I think you need to be around 24,000 transactions per second. In my mind, just to be able to overcome what's happening on blockchain as well as worldwide transactions financially, I think a lot more is required. But, you know, we'll have to see. I don't see how you're going to overcome it unless you bundle the transactions.
Well, think about this. Visa, they have retail involved. It's not just institution. Visa is actually facilitating worldwide transactions, and I'm talking all the way down to your bottom level scale, retail scale, all the way to institutions. So I understand Visa needs as much as they can get when it comes to that ceiling of TPS. But what we're dealing with here is pretty compartmentalized. We're talking like institutional money flow here. And they're going to be doing this across, I think Swift right now is handling 11,000 institutions. You know, that's lower than what Visa is doing. So I think for the cap, for what Swift needs it for, you know, I think it's good. But obviously this thing is scalable, bro. And like you said, if we can get to 20, that's even better. I don't think Linea is going to have any problems with scaling because you do have that scalability there. So this stress test is going to tell us a lot. We're talking over 30 banks are going to be involved here. So if it goes well, 5,000 may be enough. But I do get what you're saying about Visa. Visa needs that. That scope of, and I think we got LMFG here. Let's see what I think we've seen your comment. I saw your comment. Just got back from the massage and picking up 4 tires, $1,200. Yeah, tires are high, bro. Yeah. No, yeah, it's $1,200. I need to buy some wheels too. I need to get some tires too. Don't remind me. But again, back to what we're talking about. No, you're right. You're right. If you can go higher, of course, let's get it there. But I think within this particular, testing period, I don't know. We'll see. I think they're good, bro. Because again, they don't really need that much Swift when it comes to this institutional money flow. It's not like Visa, Capital One. You know, they're servicing a world, encapsulated world of transactions, bro. So Visa needs as much as they can get, right? And I would say they need to grow even more. You know, but I get what you're saying, bro. And I think the scalability factors, it's not going to be a problem here. I really don't, because these devs are coming from out that foundation, bro. You're talking about some foundation devs that are involved here, so they know what they're doing.
There's a lot of solutions. I love the ZK knowledge framework. If for the pilot program, if it was me and I was one of those banks, I'd be trying to break it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're doing this for. They're trying to break the bone of this L2. And if they break it, that's great, because then we're talking about that. That gets the devs off their asses so they can actually make it better, make it stronger, make it safer, make it more secure, make it faster. Because if they're complacent, they're not going to do any of the above, right? Am I right? They're not going to do any of that. They're just going to continue to sit and get these fees from these DEXs and these lending protocols, because the money's coming in. But, as I was showing. But yeah, I love this, man. I love what's going on here. And I think once these tokens unlock, we're going to get a nice dip, because I am very much interested in this. Not financial advice. Now, let's get into these more of the technical aspects of it, because this integration obviously is going to leverage the hallmark, which is the security anchored by Ethereum. This is another thing that Swift, this has to be an inevitability here. It has to be present in your ecosystem. Your chain has to be very secure in order to get any type of this involvement when it comes to banks, right? This is what a volume is. Now, low fees, obviously, 1/15 of the cost of ETH is what Linea is bringing to the table, which is great, along with the speed and security of ZK EVM. You have your privacy features with the zero knowledge as well, which is going to be able to handle enterprise grade applications. There's that term, JT. This is what you want to be looking for going forward if you're interested in these type of infrastructures, these infrastructure coins that are gas related. There has to be enterprise grade application abilities that they must be able to facilitate or actually offer enterprise solutions. Multi-ledger delivery versus payment as well, DVP, and payment versus payment transaction infrastructure has to be involved here as well. So this particular chain has all that, and it is token agnostic and permissioned as well. And interoperability is in place. JT, this thing is checking all my checks. My boxes are green on this. I am definitely waiting on this dip, and I can't wait to see the results of the stress test.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna definitely put it on my calendar as well.
Now, we talked about the benefits. By the way, welcome to the show, Jason. I see you, brother. Efficiency and cost, we already laid that out. Security and privacy, ZK proofs, we already laid that out. It has this, it's embedded. Scalability, high throughput for institutional involvement, and it is anchored by Ethereum. It's full. I got to tell you, this is an amazing opportunity. And a lot of people are going to miss out on this because they're chasing the wrong thing, chasing the wrong KOL, right? Chasing the wrong people into the wrong situations. Mind you, not trying to bring that down. I'm just saying focus on the long term, because this right here, a lot of people are going to be looking back 6-7 months, maybe a year later, and they're going to be wishing they got into it. Kind of like me and JT with BNB. We should have invested when it was $200, but we did it. We laughed at it because we thought it was going to crash, right?
It was wild. You had people going to jail, all kinds of things, man.
It didn't look good, bro. You know, it did not look good. We were laughing at it. So BNB is going down. Look at BNB. The trajectory is real. So be mindful of that, guys. Sometimes things aren't as they seem, right? So here's some key quotes from Joe Lubin, ConsenSys CEO. Swift's new settlement ledger will be built on Linea. He said this, and everybody was like, this guy's bullshitting. It's happening, right? Now, the highlighting roles are bridging DeFi and TradeFi. LMFG always talks about this. This is the perspective here. Now, Bank of Representative the Big Whale, this is his quote about this situation. The project will take several months. Obviously, this is a pilot move here. Like I was telling you guys earlier, I think 3 months tops and we'll get the results. But it promises a major technological transformation for the international interbank payments industry, unquote. This is huge. It has Linea and Swift. Now, here's a comment from Swift. This is going to emphasize secure support for digital assets via existing connectivity, guys, unquote. This is what Swift is saying. Here are the banks that are involved, just a few. Now, the pilot involves more than 30 banks, global banking infrastructures, including JP Morgan. Obviously, JP Morgan is going to have its hands into this. We knew this already. Citibank, HSBC, Santander, huge banks, guys. BNP Paribas, BNY Mellon, Bank of America, obviously, and the Toronto Dominion Bank, among many, are going to be involved here, guys, within this stress test, okay? This is a huge development, not only for Ethereum, but Linea in a hold, right? this is very, and I'm gonna, this is something that and I'm not gonna hammer this, guys, because I don't want to push this on you, but do your research. Don't sleep on this, because this is going to go very well. I'm very bullish on this. I know this is a test, and things can go wrong, but the stars, as we always say, are in a line here, in a direct line. And I think everything is going to work out here. It looks very, very good. Jason says, homework incoming. Thanks, y'all. Do your research on this, bro. And I want to hand clap those devs, Ethereum devs, and Swift, and what's to come here, because this is beautiful. There's a lot of FUD, but I wanted to give it to you straight. There is a token unlock that's coming up, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Use that as an opportunity to buy this freaking dip. Not a financial advice. Obviously, do your research. But as I have presented to you, this is something that you need to watch. Put it on your watch list. Do your work on it, and stay in the know, because you're gonna want to know the results of this test. And if this, internally, everybody's like, this is just formality. This is just formality. This is going to happen. Internally, this is what I'm reading. I'm getting from a lot of players involved here, banks, the actual CEO of ConsenSys. This is just the formalities here. Guys, this is going to happen. This is a reality. So when those tokens unlock, fear is going to hit the market. And a lot of those investors, a lot of those shaky paper hands are going to sell. And it's going to be a cascading effect on the charts. Make sure you are involved here and do your research. So your lasting takes on this, JT. Are you waiting on those token unlocks? I know I am.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching the graph. I might play around ahead of time. Who knows? It's always nice when you have an educated decision about what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't get caught up into it, Then all of a sudden you run in and you buy it, and then it tanks, and you're like, oh, I bought it. No, do your homework, and you have an educated guess on what you're doing here. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it aligns 3 days from today makes the homework pretty easy, because now I can just sit back and kind of observe, wait, watch, see what happens. And then, as far as me and my risk tolerance, it definitely checks off the box to where it's the reward outweighs the risk for me. For X amount. I don't want to say, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm dumping my whole bag into this thing, but I'm willing to risk.
No, we don't want to tell you to do that. That's for sure. We don't want anybody dumping their rent money into it. You invest what you can. But these are these type of opportunities to where you want to definitely pay attention to, because you don't want to miss this. You got a lot of projects that are well on into the 12s and the 13s and the 20 billions of dollars of market cap. This thing is probably going to be below $400 million market cap, especially after the token unlocks, right? Because there's a lot of FUD. A lot of people who really don't understand what's going on under the hood. So if you are that smart guy or girl that's really paying attention to what this is and what's going on with Linea, you're watching that unlock. As soon as the trigger is pulled, you're watching those dips form. This thing is probably going to get to around $350 million market cap. I think that is a phenomenal buy for a situation that has a circulation supply of only 15.4 billion tokens. Guys, with a max supply of 72 billion, right? Market cap, there's so much room to grow here, and there's a catalyst here. There's something that could move this very quickly into the stratosphere. Just be mindful. I'll shut up. I don't want to hand clap to Linea. Hand clap to it. I'm on hard. Pretty excited about it.
I don't have a whole lot of exposure to XRP, but if I did, what a leverage play that is.
I'm telling you, bro. And no shots to the Ripple and XRP. I think that they'll be just fine, especially if they continue to build that ledger out. You have the side chain that's pumping. So XRP, it'll have its place within the ledger as well. RLUSD is going to do phenomenal things. It's going to bring a lot of volume to the ledger. You have the Dubai partnership. You're going to see a tokenized real estate. That's huge. That's not getting enough attention. So I don't think this is a shot to the heart of XRP at all. XRP is going to do quite well, especially if they concentrate on ledger development. Bring those RWAs on. launch that DEX. That particular ledger, decentralized exchange, needed to be launched last year. So we can get that DEX launched. I think they're still in the middle of that pre-sale. If I'm not correct, let me know. But yeah, I'm not worried about XRP. I think they'll do quite well. But we're looking at the Linea chart just to move off of that. 414 is the market cap, 414 million. You do see a downslide in the volume as well. You do see some reductive selling. It was at 28 cents, I believe. So this thing, I'm sorry, 2 cents. This is where it's consolidating at. JT, 2 cents, bro. Market cap, 414 mil. Max supply, 72 billion. You gotta unlock. That's about to happen, but who freaking cares? This thing is like loaded with perspectives, positive perspective. I'm done talking about it. I gotta move on. But yeah, guys, pay attention to this. Let's go ahead and move to NFTs. We are looking at the NFT. I want to get your take on this before we get to the member giveaway and get out of here. DX Terminal is leading the charge. To do the volume, listen, market cap is at 4. It's down 3% or so, but it was already down across the board. You see a total sales spike here within today, and I love this graph here because this graph is real time. We're talking total sales, JT, to $360,000 worth of total sales. It's up almost 400% within a 24-hour period. Not bad for the comeback when it comes to not only sales but volume, guys. And top 5, you're talking Pudgy Penguins, Moonbirds, which are going to be Moonbirds is working on another collection. I think it's called Burbs. That thing is going to be pretty phenomenal for Moonbirds. Checks, Max Payne. I don't know if you got a couple of those. Those things, those floor prices are pretty phenomenal. 1 ETH per Max Payne. I gotta check that. What is going on with that? Why is that so high? And then you have DX Terminal, and that's going to be on the base chain. Doodles, it's an OG thing. You've seen Bored Apes was a part of that actual lawsuit that actually extinguished the security label of NFTs, which is phenomenal. JT, my ladies, all these things are starting to pump all over again, and they just pull up the rest of them as well, the new ones that are being launched. What's your take on this newfound movement in the NFT market? The last 24 hour of sales volume is phenomenal, bro.
To be honest, bro, last cycle you could not get me to buy an NFT. I still don't understand a lot of them, like the PFP. There's just a picture. Not so much, you know what I mean? But people are starting to understand the true value of non-fungible tokens. Like non-fungible tokens are everything. It's everything you own. It's your sweater. It's your car. I mean, like everything that's yours is non-fungible. You can't just switch it out for a different sweater and it's the same. No, so that the idea of what a non-fungible token is kind of like evolving to what it actually is, and you're getting a lot of utility out of some of these. So it's like every time I'm looking at some of these like insane prices on some of like really insane prices. Yeah. What are you doing? Like what value is provided by that? Is it just a bunch of people who are out there like with a lot of money and pushing up the price so that they can get other people to buy it and dump on them later? Or is it giving you some kind of access or a pass or some sort of value that you can derive other than that? You know what I mean? Yeah. And as we go further into the NFT market, I think it's just going to evolve more and more and more, and you're going to get medical records involved. You're going to get all kinds of things that that aren't really conceptualized yet. But yeah, awesome market. I love it. On the grand aspect of things, on the PFP, JPEG file stuff, not really so much. I'm more looking for things that are going to show me utility. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think the technology is where it's going to be leveraged. We're used to the JPEGs. We're used to the music-based NFTs, which really didn't catch on very much, but it's good for the musicians. You see a lot of those on the markets, whether just they're tokenizing their music productions. That's using that, like you said, using the tech. It's not just JPEGs, you know, and you have that secondary tokenized, the token standard that allowed more liquidity involved there too as well within the NFT projects. I have to tell you, you know, I have a background in art, so the art is very dear to the heart, and I love the fact that you can come in as an independent artist and actually make a lot of money and bring it in without having to share it with second and third parties, like a lot of artists have to go through. A lot of starving artists that I know that I went to school with that are great artists, but they just don't practice anymore because they got screwed. They got tired of being screwed, right? So you come into this particular you know, atmosphere, NFT marketplace, and you can actually do your thing, and you can actually deploy your art and actually get handsomely paid for it. You know, I think it's a phenomenal situation. Not only you know JPEGs, but music. And like you said, you can put cars, you can put homes. I'm looking at the RWA situation here, which tokenized gold actually exceeds all tokenized aspects right now when it comes to this particular movement of RWAs. But I got to tell you, almost Jesus, man, I'm talking $3 billion worth of tokenized market cap right now. And a lot of it, you break it down to the top issuers, Tether and Paxos, they make up that pie essentially, and that's where we're talking about gold, tech stocks that are being tokenized, Microsoft, Apple, Google, silver. All of this is being tokenized, guys. These are just we're in the infancy stages of this, and a lot of the actual top networks that are taking advantage of this, that are being used for this tokenization, Ethereum, 94% of the actual network activity when it comes to tokenized assets are RWAs, guys. Ethereum. This is why you see Linea being tapped by Swift, because this infrastructure already exists with Ethereum. This is why you had 2.0, right, to get ready for this. You have Solana coming in at a distant second at 4.72% of the actual networks that are facilitating RWA. So this is just starting to actually grow, JT. And a lot of this RWA situation, you have the non-fungible token, you know, actual technology being used here to implant these homes, cars, tokenize these stocks, right? Put the data on these particular standards. This is what's being used. So just like you said, NFT technology, what was under the hood this whole entire time that people ignored, is finally being leveraged. It's finally being used for something that we already knew it had the capability to facilitate.
Right, because people hear NFT and they just hear that one thing. They pretty much hear just a little picture, but they don't think about their own stuff as NFTs, you know. But it actually is. And when you start taking it into the gamification layer, where it's like people are investing their time and energy into, you know, this character-based progression that you got going on, you get experience, you get extra whatever in your game, and then at the end of the day, they don't have any reflection of that actual asset or the time that you invested. With it being stackable and stuff, you can just, you know, start to carry on some of the value. Oh, you spoke about the music in today's days and age, where it's like social media is such a huge impact on our society. People can actually get out there without record labels and just create their own music, get their music out to their fans, and like share ownership and distribution directly out, you know, handle their own manufacturing. I think that's beautiful for the space.
It is, man. It's very interesting. I'm looking at this and this just blows me away, man, that the way the tokenized stocks, silent. This is a very silent movement, but this is, you know, this is the top 10. Gold, obviously, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, Google, silver, Amazon, Meta, you know, Avgo, which is Broadcom Incorporated, and then you have Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Ltd. that has been tokenized. It is on Ethereum. Tesla, you know, Berkshire and Hathaway, that has been tokenized. JP Morgan, guys, this is happening. You know, and ETH is the bringer of a lot of this. They're facilitating a boatload of this. And a lot of people thought Solana was going to overtake this particular sector. No, it's not what's happening. ETH is the mother chain. I'm not talking shit about Solana. I love Solana, but Ethereum, you have XDC is pulling its work too as well, but facilitating tokenized, you know, real world assets. You have Arbitrum, slight little sliver of the pie as well, and then you have Hypurr EVM too. But predominantly, ETH is killing it. Now, as far as the issuers, I didn't mention this, but we move on to the giveaway here. I said Tether Impact, so which is going to be a lot of tokenized stocks when it comes to gold, tokenized gold and silver there. Ondu, guys, don't sleep on Ondu. They are 10% of the issuers when it comes to these RWAs already. When it comes to that market share, right? 10% they've already captured, which is pretty interesting. So not only Linea, but Ondu. Don't sleep on that. They got an L1 that they're building that they're going to release to as well next year. I don't know if they're going to migrate into an Ondu coin. We shall see. That would be phenomenal as well, because I will be buying that coin. But just to wrap this up before we leave, JT, RWA, tokenized assets, the real world institutions that are going to be moving into this particular arena of blockchain technology, non-fungible token technology. As far as I'm concerned, this is where you need to be steering your money, because a lot of what we see in the stock market is coming on chain. It is moving on chain. You can actually buy these stocks right now on Ethereum. I think this is beautiful. This is what we've been waiting on. Right now, as far as Bitcoin, we talked about the quantum situation. Bitcoin is about to get an overhaul, JT. They're about to pop the hood, go into the core aspects of Bitcoin, and there's going to be some alterations put in place. What you taking a hold on what we've been talking about as we move to the giveaway, brother?
I mean, that's hard to say, you know, without putting direct eyes on exactly what they're changing, what they're doing, you know what I mean? But something definitely needs to be done, or it leads to the end of Bitcoin, essentially. If somebody starts cracking some of this legacy wallet, it will have such an impact on the entire market.
Oh my God.
That, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, you said
if you ever get
you said it.
You know, especially after we're already progressed in the halvening, and it's become so difficult to mine them, yet the risk to reward will not be worth it. The miners won't mine it. You know what I mean? So,
well, they're about to get a core upgrade. No, you're right. You're right. They're about to get a core upgrade. They're working on that right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen to Bitcoin. I think it needs an upgrade. I think it needs a core upgrade. I'm talking the center, the actual general aspects, the engine. That thing needs to be upgraded, and I think this is what BlackRock is pushing for. That it's happening, and we'll see what happens. Going into the new year, I'm going to go ahead and say 2027. What does Bitcoin look like when we get to January 2027? Is it going to look like what we're used to looking at, infrastructurally, internally? Will we see a fork? Will we see a different Bitcoin? I think so, guys. I really do. As far as supply, a lot of people want that supply to go up. The trajectory of the supply to go up north of 21. Think about that.
I don't think the question is, will we see a fork? It's, what will the market choose to back? Because you're going to have a large influx of people, you know, institutional money that are pushing for it, and they're going to side their money on that side of the fork. Will the legacy people in Bitcoin, if they really feel, you know, I'm very worried about what's going to be the outcome of that. They're going to try to give themselves control over mint. They're going to try to give themselves the ability to create more money, which is the main thing we don't like about Bitcoin, which is the only thing that gives us security. So I'm just nervous about that part, but it'll be interesting to see, because the market will decide.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty shaky about it. We'll see. I have my thoughts on that, what it's going to look like, what the supply is going to look like after they close the hood, after they get through tinkering with it, because they're doing it right now. And I know BlackRock wants that supply to go north of 21. I do know that. And they want more control, right? And they want to, I'm not even going to go any further with that, because it's a bit bearish, but we'll see. Let's get to the actual member giveaway. We have a full wheel here, and we're going to give away some Solana today, guys. All you have to do to participate on our weekly member giveaway is to become a member and to interact with the videos. Once you do that, you get put on the wheel, and then we spin this puppy, and then we get we pick 3 winners. And this is what we're about to do. I got to do a double check, and for some reason I am on the wheel. We can't have that, so I am
shout out to all the people in the room. It's so crazy, because when I'm sitting here on the stage with you, it's like just me and you.
Yeah.
And we're just talking with you. I can't see anybody else who's in the room, or I can't see the comments or anything, but then you put the wheel up and I see all these people. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, bro, let me tell you, the members are great. I love the members. They interact with the videos every time I drop, and we're going to get some more out to you as well this week. Going to increase that volume, guys, most definitely. Let's go ahead and see if we can get 3 beautiful members, and we'll give them some Solana. Let's go ahead and get the first one. Yeah, the stock markets. Have you looked at the stock market, JT? Very interesting. Futures are looking very grim. All right, so we got Logan G19. All right, brother. Logan G19 is going to be the first winner, JT. So, Logan, you know what to do, brother. Hit me up. And all I need is that Solana address, bro, so we can get you your Solana as quick as possible. Let's go. 2 more.
Exactly.
That's a pretty good spin. Yeah, futures do not look very good, bro. The government shutdown is not doing, it's not very happy. Looks like Revolutionize. I think this is what it is. So we have Revolutionize is going to be number 2. Remember, video participant here, Revolutionize. I think that's what that is. So congratulations one more time, man. Clap. All I need is that soul address. I haven't seen this name pop up in a while, so congratulations. We have 1 more spin. Let's go. Good spin. Good spin. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna go ahead and call Suzu 15,000. What do you think? Yep, I think so. I think so. Let's gonna round that up. So we're gonna do a recap here. We have, let's go ahead and pull it up here. We have Logan G910. That's gonna be the first one. And then we have Ruvan Shy. I think that's what that is. Hand clap to you, my friend. And that's gonna hand clap to you. There it goes. And then to round this up, Suzu 15,000 is gonna be the last winner today. So all I need is those soul addresses, and we will get you your prize, your member prize. So congratulations. Hello, Tracy. Hope you're doing well today. JT, hold on. Let me see. I think we got some news here. Hold on. I like to do a news report. Hold on. I mean the last. Let's see what we got here before we get out of here. S&P launches new crypto index. Oh, look at there. Look at there. So we have a S&P launches a new crypto index consisting of 15 cryptocurrencies, probably just top ones, and 35 crypto related stocks, which we went over just recently. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, Peter Schiff has been going off on Trump. We're not even going to go there. We don't need that. You have more news confirming that Swift and Linea. We went through a deep dive on Linea, guys. It's still the talk of the town. It's all over the place. Lots of YouTube videos about this.
They're calling it Linea.
Linea, what is, how do you pronounce that, bro? I have 2 ways of showing. I'm probably pissed. Linea. Okay, so I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Linea. It's not
about to get sent in time though. Linea forever.
No shit, bro. It's not Lennon. It's not Lenin. It's Linea. So we're gonna keep that into. But yeah, a lot. That community is pumped, bro. It's pumped, man. Did you see? What is it? I think a lot of people are buying into poly market too. I think that's it, man. I think that's it. Oracle is dumping. Holy shit, dude! I gotta tell you. They need to open the government up, go ahead and fund it, because man, they keep this up, bro, and things are gonna go south real quick. So we have the winners, JT. Let's go ahead and cap it off, bro. What your take? What's your predictions, bro? And how are we gonna be looking going into the next 5 days?
Man, I'm feeling good looking at the forward aspect. Of course, we're expecting a little runoff, you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, all around, I'm still feeling good for the run, and yeah, I'm just along for the ride, man. I really appreciate you holding the medium, providing all this super information for me to go do a bunch more homework. But yeah, thanks for having me on the stage, and thank you everybody for showing up and listening.
Yeah, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. And we definitely got to do it again. LMFG, I know we caught up. I kind of was a little late going live, but we got it on. Usually I'm on a whole lot earlier, so I hope you're doing well. He got his back massage, so hopefully he's feeling better. And got some new wheels on the tire, on the car too, which I need to do as well. So guys, be mindful what's going on with Linea as well as the market. Watch Bitcoin is probably going to crater below. I'm calling 119 before we go back up to 130, essentially. So be mindful what's going on with Ethereum as well. That thing is very robust. Don't go buying the tops of anything right now because we're in correction mode. Be mindful of that. No, we're going to see you guys on the next show. Take it easy.